Which one takes better photos, iPhone or Samsung? This is a decade-long question, and I think I have a good answer to it. Samsung S24 is much better than the iPhone 15 when it comes to zooming, as obviously it has a dedicated telephoto lens, while the iPhone 15 makes up for it because of a better app integration, which we'll get into that later. In a lot of other cases, it kind of depends on your taste. I am Mo and I'm using the latest firmware on both phones. If not stated, I'm using the S24 Global variant because I didn't want to look like a fool walking with 3 phones on public. But on some occasions, I also shoot with both S24 series and also iPhone 15 to have a better comparison. We started the day in Belvedere taking photos of a statue. The wide lens of the iPhone is a bit wider and zooms out more. There is also a bit more contrast on the iPhone 15 compared to the S24. On the main lens, at first glance, the result is very similar, but if you zoom in, you will realize iPhone 15 is sharpening the photo more, maybe even a bit too much for my taste. But the thing is, on a small phone screen, this over-sharpening will make the photo look better, even though there is not necessarily more information being captured. Remember I told you there is an area where the Samsung S24 completely destroys the iPhone 15, right? And that's the telephoto lens, which the iPhone 15 lacks. The iPhone 15 Pro has it, but it's also much more expensive than both the 15 and the S24. Here is the result. If you zoom 3 times into the subject like I did here, at first maybe you won't notice much of a difference, but the moment you zoom in, the difference becomes kind of huge. The S24 captures a lot more details compared to the iPhone 15. And maybe we can take a look at a better example where I zoom into the airplane 10 times. The photo on the S24 is sharper and less noisy and the airplane looks visible, whereas on the iPhone 15, it is noisy and lacks clarity. I then moved a bit further in Belvedere to take more photos and video, and I noticed that the S24 screen is brighter than the iPhone 15. I don't exactly know why, but I thought to report on it. The photos on the Galaxy S24 has a higher exposure, which makes the photos slightly brighter than the iPhone 15, and it's up to your personal preference which one you prefer. I feel S24 sometimes overdo it with removing shadows, but both ones take great pictures outdoors even in bright sunlight. We went for a coffee and cake in a close by French cafe. The photo of the food is almost identical, at least I cannot tell which phone took which photo. iPhone 15 white balance is a bit different, but that's about it. Same as the flowers photo. iPhone 15 took the photo a bit with deeper whites compared to S24, but I prefer the photo on S24 and the colors it produced. It is interesting for me that the common knowledge is iPhone saturates the pictures, whereas I don't see much of a difference between color saturations on these pictures. By the way, both of these phones are smaller than the Ultra and Pro Max, hence the battery capacity is smaller. But both of them have a magnetic back, which makes it perfect to attach a magnetic power bank. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, TORRAS. I'm using TORRAS cases for a while now on my Ultra, but they also produce cases that are MagSafe for iPhone 15 and Galaxy S24 base models. And they also have great slim power banks that I absolutely love. You can add a great transparent cases to your phone and attach your power bank whenever you need. This way you can see the back of your phone if you pick your favorite color, which for me here is black and silver, while for my friend her phone is pink. By the way, she asked me whether she should buy iPhone 15 or iPhone 15 Pro, and I told her to buy iPhone 15 Pro, but she went for iPhone 15 because it was pink. Just a note, that's how people actually choose their phone, so don't take these comparisons too seriously. The TORRAS case is seriously great. I'm using it for some time already. Just check their website that is linked in the description. I'm also very grateful they keep sponsoring this channel because it lets me buy new phones with my own money and stay independent in the comparisons. While going to Danube Island, I tested a cool feature from Galaxy S24, and that's a dual camera setup, which is pretty nice for vlogging. You can use both front and rear camera to take a video or photo simultaneously. I don't recommend doing it on a bike though, and it is illegal. When taking video, I realized the S24 has more contrast and is a slightly darker tone of greens compared to iPhone 15. But all things considered, it is quite difficult to tell them apart in these shots. When running towards the subject, I felt iPhone 15 did a slightly better job in stabilization compared to S24, but there's also a super steady mode that I didn't use in here, which could improve the stabilization. As we're getting closer to sunset, I realized S24 is making the photos more vibrant and colors are more saturated. Here, if you look at the sky on the back, you will realize there are also some bright reds on the clouds that is lacking on iPhone, while S24 grass is darker and has a deeper tone to it. Also, Tanya's skin tone has more red to it on S24 compared to iPhone 15, and I prefer the photos on iPhone 15 on this instance. Both phones did a great job taking photos of a moving subject, and the shutter speed was not being confused, which I feel is a great improvement for both of these phones in this generation. Previously, it was an issue. For close-up photos, neither have a dedicated macro mode, but they both do a great job capturing photos that you need for a daily life. Except from the color tones and a bit more contrast on videos for S24, there are not much of a difference on the main lens, but that all changes when you move to the telephoto lens and decide to zoom a bit. Here you can see that the iPhone 15, due to lack of telephoto lens, didn't capture the leaves well compared to details that S24 picked up. That would result on subpar videos that won't keep up sharpness or details, so you can pretty much forget about zooming while taking a video more than the normal lens. But again, if you go back to the normal lens, the difference between the cameras are very minimal and they only produce slightly different pictures due to computational photography. I took some unannounced pictures of Tanya. It is again personal preference, but both Tanya and I prefer the look on S24, especially on second photo, as it highlighted her hair very nicely. My only critique of S24 is the skin tone on Tanya's face, which is a bit too orange for my taste. The skin tone is also very similar on the video that I took. Write down in the comment section which photo or video do you prefer on Tanya's face. Do you prefer iPhone 15 or Galaxy S24?
Nice!
We left the Danube Island and moved towards the UN since my gym is near there. So I'm now at the General Assembly at United Nations. Right off the bat, the Galaxy S24 has a bit of a brighter color. It is actually more true to the tone. As promised, I used both S24 versions here. The S24 US version in the middle has the sky a bit more yellow compared to S24 Exynos on the left. The sky is also deeper blue on iPhone 15. In the second picture, both S24 created almost identical images, while iPhone 15 white balance is a bit different. Here the difference again between S24s are minimal, while the gray color of the office text is whiter on iPhone 15, which is something we observed in other images too. Here the difference in colors are more visible. Both S24 show more orange and red, while the colors on iPhone 15 is less saturated and the picture is softer. For indoor photos, they are very similar both in terms of colors and level of details. But when I took a cringy mirror selfie in the gym, I realized iPhone is doing a better job. No wonder all the girls out there wanna have an iPhone to take mirror selfie. Before it gets dark, I went to the balcony to take photos of this amazing scene. And I used, of course, the zoom on the main lens, which again, the iPhone 15 result disappointed me, and S24 did a much better job, even on 5x zoom. I took the train to take some night photos to conclude the comparison. iPhone, in my opinion, does a better job at night. The picture is darker but much closer to reality compared to artificial purple sky on S24. The colors are also more accurate, as for example here, the flowers were red and not pink, or in the other example, iPhone captured the photos better, while Samsung S24 overexposed the image. Mind you, this image is in almost zero light. In the beginning, I said S24 has a big flaw which results in most people thinking iPhone takes better pictures, and it is not exactly Samsung's fault. When taking pictures within other apps like Snapchat or Instagram, the quality of images on iPhone is much better than the Galaxy, and it has a lot to do with how app developers implement things. Sometimes it's as stupid of taking a screenshot of the image instead of actually taking a picture. Also, iOS gives much more control compared to Android, and the APIs are more tailored. That's why most people believe that iPhones make better pictures, even though if you compare the same price brackets, usually Samsung phones give more features and have better sensors and more cameras. I also did another comparison of S24 Snapdragon versus Exynos versus the Ultra, which you can see here, and if not, you can watch another video here. Thanks for tuning into Tecmo, and I will see you in the next one.